Good morning. This is the Black Studies Broadcast Journal. I'm Marianne Williams, your program moderator. Today we are very pleased to feature a lecture by the three-time heavyweight champion of the world, the greatest Muhammad Ali. He addressed a very receptive audience last January in Mershon Auditorium. His topic, the Intoxications of Life. Muhammad Ali's executive liaison, Hillary Knight, introduces him.
It's a pleasure for the Muhammad Ali Party to be here in Columbus with you. It is my distinct pleasure tonight to introduce to you my employer, a friend of all of you all's and mine personally. And at this point, he shall be with you in a minute. On January the 17th, 1942, some 37 years ago, the former Cassius Marcellus Clay has today matured into one of the most famous, respected, and admired men ever to live on our planet. He often is compared to others in terms of his popularity and recognizability, and certainly I would have to agree that he is the most popular person walking the earth today. But his significance as a human being certainly does go far beyond shallow popularity. His calling in the professional arena has been the high art and craft of boxing. It is not necessarily in this introduction that I trace his career with you, for we all know what that is tonight. We all know it so well. Once, twice, 3 times world heavyweight champion is a monumental feat that very well may never be equal for decades to come. However, what you are in store for this evening, and what I have been pleased, honored, and fascinated to observe in him, is the thinker, the poet, the philosopher, the social observer, commentator, and wit. Yes, the humanist. All these are varied sides of this polydimensional man. I might add that also he has been referred to as the $50,000 man. And in his fighting career, he has, in fact, grossed in excess of that amount. Muhammad Ali is a polydimensional personality of universal size, spirit, and proportions. Wherever we travel across the globe, he himself generates a magnetic bond of unity with people of all colors, and he has taught the world, all of us, many lessons. He has taught us, in the truest sense of the American tradition, that one must stand up and fight, indeed struggle for what we deeply believe in. He has taught us that we all are God's children, and that as men and women we must be respected, trusted, honored, protected, but most of all, loved. He has taught us that ultimately we all are God's children. We all must stand up for the highest principles in which we believe in. We must love one another. Ladies and gentlemen, as the new executive liaison to Muhammad Ali, I present Muhammad Ali.
Thank you. Have a seat. Thank you. Please have a seat. Thank you. First of all, I want to say I'm happy to see so many people out just to hear me talk. Also, I appreciate your admiration, but I would like to be serious for a few minutes. And then after that, we can clown, ask some questions, and talk foolishness. But there's a serious side of myself that I never displayed in the sporting ring because people didn't pay for that. They like the acting part. So I'm on this college tour not for money. not for fame. I don't have to be here tonight. I'm recognized as the most popular human on earth. Anywhere I go, I'm not boasting. Woman, please be serious a moment. I'm not boasting. I just want you to understand, because I know you're intelligent people, and you recognize truth when you hear it. And you wise ones recognize wisdom. If you're a fool, you'll be gone before my lecture's over. People ask me, what is he going to talk about? Some of you are right now thinking, lecture in a college, a boxer, what can he talk about? I write many subjects and topics that I give when I'm not boxing. Boxing was only a stage to launch me off to the world and things I want to do. A rocket ship is going to the moon. You have a 3-stage booster that puts the main object in orbit. So boxing helped me to be where I can draw crowds, can make money, make me popular, kept me in good condition. But basically, I'm a spiritual man, and I like religion. I believe deeply in the supreme being, and I recognize truth, represent truth. This is why I didn't go to Vietnam. This is why I didn't go to jail. The Supreme Court, the CIA, the FBI, they all follow me, listen to phone calls, watch my actions with women to see if I was truly a religious man. And I won the Supreme Court victory 8-0, as being a minister of my religion at the time. This is why I didn't go to Vietnam or jail, because they followed me and they found out I was serious. They knew that, they found out that there was another side to me that I never exhibited in the public. Some of you may be shocked and surprised before I'm finished talking, because you never saw this side. I only gave you the side that mystified you. People like to be mystified. They like to be told ghost stories and fairy tales. The biggest movie they ever made it was Jaws. Real silly, shark eating people up. Then Star Wars, another fool picture. So silly I couldn't stay and watch it, but it was the biggest hit. Then got one called The Wiz, The Lion and the Tin Man, all kind of foolishness. People believe in all that. They like to hear it. So this moved me to give you this topic, the intoxications of life. You may ask, what does he mean by the intoxications of life? I want all of you to stop and concentrate, forget all about your problems and your other adventures. And just no phone will ring, nobody will interrupt us, and I have a few things that I want to tell you. And if I tell you it's good, it's good. I don't mess with no losers. I'm not wrapped up in no failures or nothing corny. I've been a success all my life. I wouldn't come before you if I didn't think I had something that you would really get something from. Now, and I went out to see the people of the regular neighborhoods. We found 10 or 12 men congregating from the hot sun under the shade of a palm tree. I was curious to know what people thought about of other countries, other ideas. So with my Egyptian interpreter, I stopped and asked him, we stood there pretending to be talking to one another, but in reality, listening to what was going on. These men gave the impression of poverty, hopelessness, helplessness, entirely without worldly goods. They're sitting on the ground in raggedy clothes. But the interpreter told me that when these men started to speak to one another, that impression didn't remain, because they addressed each other as "O King of Kings, O Emperor of Emperors." He said he was shocked to hear these words, because these men were not emperors and kings of worldly possessions. But he stopped and says, "Brother Ali," he was a Muslim minister, a real wise Egyptian. He says, "What is a king and what is emperor? Is the real king or the real emperor within or without? For he who is emperor or king of the outer empire, he depends upon the outer empire. But the moment he loses his crown, the moment he's separated from the wealth, he's no longer the emperor, the king. But these emperors and kings sitting on the bare ground in raggedy clothes are true kings and true emperors because they have a kingdom among themselves that no one can take away. He said the emperor or king sitting in the castle might have a bottle of wine in front of him, but these emperors and kings have drank the wine of life, and they have become true kings and true emperors. So then we got to talking, he was telling about intoxication, how some people are intoxicated with alcohol. They got to have a drink. You know, people always got to take a drink, either wine, whiskey, gin, or beer. Some receive this intoxication of life through narcotics, such as cocaine, heroin, reefer, or whatever. Some are intoxicated with their wealth and their money. They're so wealthy until they no longer see the condition of poor people around them. Some are intoxicated with their fame and their glory, and the result is they're continually looking down on those who look up to them. Some are intoxicated with their physical beauty and attraction. Some brothers are so handsome. Some women are so beautiful, and they know it. And they continue walking as if though they own the world. There are many, many things which we can consider intoxicating, but if we consider the very nature of your everyday life, just stop and think. Consider the nature of everyday life. We see that life itself is full of intoxication. Even the air that you breathe from morning till evening is full of some type of stimulus or pollution. You can taste the chlorine in the water you drink and the food you eat. And you may ask, if this be so, is there ever a moment when man is not intoxicated? The answer is no. Man is always intoxicated, only some people are more intoxicated than others. We can see the truth of what I'm saying when you compare your condition yesterday with your conditions today. Your loved ones of yesterday. Stop and think about some boyfriend or some girlfriend or husband or wife that you had years ago. I just got divorced a couple of years ago, and my children, Miriam, Rashida, Jamila, Muhammad Ali Jr., I don't see them no more unless I go visit them. And it's a shame, I hate to admit it, but I catch myself having to make myself think about them. They say out of sight, out of mind. These are my children. I love my children. A woman I forgot about. Sanji, my first wife back in 65, I don't know what she used to act like. You stay away long enough. Your mother, your father, your brother, your cousins who died, you have to really make an effort to remember these people. So we can see the truth of this idea when you compare your condition yesterday with your conditions today. Your happiness, your unhappiness, your riches, your poverty of yesterday is only like a dream to you. It's today's condition, and only today's condition that counts. This life of continual rise and fall, this life of continual change of ours can be compared with the weather, always changing from one condition, from one climate to another. A few hours ago, it wasn't snowing. Now we barely got here. To explain what I'm talking about, suppose a man goes from poverty to riches, like I have. And then if I lose those riches, we grieve. Why does man grieve? Because he cannot remember that before having those riches, he was poor, and he came from poverty to those riches. If one considers what one's desires, what your fancies have been through life, you will find that at every stage of your development, you had a particular desire. When you're around 5, 6, 7 years old, there was a certain doll or toy or fire engine that you really liked. Think back. Then as you got a little older, into teenagehood, there was a certain bicycle, a certain girl you used to always watch at school, a certain boy you used to like, certain something that you value. Now there's a certain apartment, a certain car, something that you want. At every stage of development, we have particular desires. If a person could look at his whole life, he will find that his life was nothing but an intoxication. You will find that you are never satisfied. Have you ever saw a car or dress? I mean, how many brothers have saw girls that, boy, she's so, ooh, if I could just get her. Oh, Lord, I'll be satisfied. I'll quit all the other ones. And as soon as you get to her, as soon as you find out she loves you, you're looking at another one. You will find that your life is nothing but an intoxication. Because what at one time gives you great pride and satisfaction, at another time the same thing humiliates you. You drink some beer, you drink some gin, you smoke some pot. You feel high, you feel like you're feeling good. And then the next day you feel terrible. You see a girl you like, you love, you want to marry. Next day you're in court catching hell. Same one that you once loved so much. You were so happy. Dun, 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 dun. Next day, judge. Same one, I know it, two of them. Put me through a whole lot of money, $2 to get married and $2 million to get free. So that which you have great pride and satisfaction in, the same thing humiliation. What at one time we value greatly, at times you don't even value at all. Saw a house in Chicago, $60,000, three-floor mansion. Fix it up, put $700,000 in it. Love the house, everything is pretty. Got to Los Angeles last week. Saw a house better neighborhood, everything prettier, $850,000. In debt again. Now I got the one in Chicago I'm trying to sell. Saw an Eldorado Cadillac. I saw the one was Eldorado. Then I saw Rolls Royce. That was it. I'm through. I'm not going to waste money. Then I saw Stutz Bearcat. This is it now. Now I saw a mobile home bus fixed up like a house. And you probably don't spend that kind of money, but you have those type things and desires. If a person could observe his actions, in everyday life, and if he tells the truth about himself, you will find yourself doing something many times that you did not wish to do, or saying something that you had not wished to say, or behaving in such a way where you ask yourself later, why was I just a fool? Sometimes we allow ourselves to love someone, to admire someone. This may go on for days. It may go on for weeks. It may go on for months, even years. Then you find out, maybe I was wrong in doing so. Or something more attractive or something better comes along. Then you find yourself on another road, all confused, not knowing whom you love nor what you really want. So man in his actions and reactions of life sometimes does things on impulse, not really considering what you're doing. Sometimes we do something that we might think is good, something charitable, something nice. Sometimes that same man, you find him and his goodness seems to be gone. Then man in his business, he gets another type impulse, or in his profession. I must do this or I must do that. And you seem full of strength and courage to accomplish this. Sometimes you're successful in what you set out to do. Then sometimes you forget what you set out to do, find yourself on another road doing something else. This shows the man in the activities of his life is just like a piece of wood lifted up by the waves of the sea when they rise up and cast down when they subside. Man is floating on the ocean of worldly activities, not knowing what he's doing, not knowing where he's going. And the only thing clear to man is the moment which he calls the present. The past is a dream, and the future is in the mist, and the only thing clear to man is the present. Take the attachment and the affection and the love of birds and animals. They're not much different from the affection and the attachment of man. For an example, there was once a time when the sparrow bird looked after the young bird. And the bird every day brings grain and worms, puts them in the young one's beak. This goes on until the young birds have grown their wings. Once the young birds have known the branches on the tree, once the young birds have flown out into the forest under the protection of their mother, they never again see nor remember their mother, which is so loyal and kind to them. How many of you see your mothers and fathers every day like you used to? At one time, every time something happened, Mama, Mama, Daddy, Daddy. My little girl called my wife tonight, and she said every time my little girl get hurt or she get a spanking, she called me because she know I don't whoop her. Every time my wife beat her, she like, Daddy, Daddy. She wake up in the middle of the night, Daddy, Daddy, and looking for hitting me and there's a pillow. I'm gone. My daughter really do. but there'll come a time when she'll be hollering, George, George, Fred, Fred. See? So, that bird flies away and never again remembers their mother. And once we get married, go to another city, have children, we go away, and maybe once a year we'll visit mother, but there was a time you had to see mother every day. What does this show us? It shows us that there are moments of emotions, moments of impulses of attachment, moments of affection in life, but there comes a time when all these things pass and fade away. Then there comes a time when a person thinks that there's something else he desires, or something or someone else that he would like to love. And the more one thinks of man's life in the world, the more one comes to the understanding that our lives are not much different from the life of a little child. A child that takes a liking into a doll or a toy. Then the child gets tired of the doll, throws it away and wants another toy. But at the moment the child took the liking into the doll, the child thought that doll was the most valuable thing in the world. And then there comes a time when the child throws away the doll or destroys the toy. And so it is with man. Perhaps our scopes are a little different, but our actions are the same. If we look at what man considers important in life, such as the collection of wealth, the possession of property, the gaining of fame, or the rising into a position which you might think ideal, all these objects only have an intoxicating effect on you, because after attaining the object, you'll still never be satisfied. He thinks that there's something else he wants, and it wasn't this, then he wanted it all. What man wants, he feels it to be the most important thing at the moment. But after you get it, after a few days, the newness wears off, you no longer think it to be important at all. You find yourself looking at something else. Everything that pleases man, everything that makes man happy, our amusements, our theater, moving pictures, golf, baseball, boxing, basketball, chasing women, magic, tennis, hockey, whatever it is that you like. What amuses people is to be puzzled, not knowing the outcome of a boxing match, not knowing the outcome of a baseball game. They enjoy being mystified and waiting to see who's going to win. They enjoy that. Not knowing the outcome of a baseball game, not knowing if he's going to win or love of a certain girl that he likes. His fun is in chasing and lying and plotting. As soon as you make it, as soon as you get them, a couple of days go by, damn, it wasn't really worth it. Same with you girls. I'm not just talking about you, same way when you conquer some dude that you've been watching. It seems that we only desire to fill our time. And what man calls pleasure is what happens to him the moment he's intoxicated. Intoxicated with the activities of life. Anything that covers your eyes from reality. Anything that can give you a certain sensation in life, whether it's champagne, scotch, sex, alcohol, dope, whatever. This is what you call pleasure. Anything that you can indulge in which can make you conscious or curious of some activity. These are the things that man calls pleasure. Man's nature is such that whatever he becomes accustomed to is his pleasure, be it eating, drinking, or any other activity. If he becomes accustomed to what is bitter, then bitterness gives him pleasure. If he becomes accustomed to what is sour, then sourness gives him pleasure. If he becomes accustomed to eating sweets, then you like sweet things. Some men get into the habit of complaining about their lives. This is my father. Always complaining. How great he should be, or how he was held back, how he could have been this. You know your mothers and uncles and fathers and brothers. It's always complaining. You know them kind of people. That's an intoxication. If they can't find nothing to complain about, they'll find something to complain about. Others, then there are those, thank you, then there are those, thank you for those two hands. Then we have people who always want the sympathy of their fellow man. You know them, always telling you how hard they're having it, how they don't have no money, things are bad, they need a job, give them some help them out. This is an intoxication, always playing about how hard they're having it. All of this is intoxication. Then there's the person who's fallen into the hands of theft. He derives pleasure from stealing, and the habit becomes stronger and stronger. And when the honest source of income is offered, they don't want it, they're not satisfied. That's an intoxication. In these ways that I'm explaining to you, people become intoxicated with certain activities in life, and these things become an intoxication. There are many who develop the habit of worrying about things. That's my mother. You know those people always worry? Always worry. The least little thing worries them very much. They cherish whatever little sorrow that they have. It's like a plant that they water and they nourish. All of this is intoxication. Many people consciously, unconsciously, knowingly, unknowingly become accustomed to illness. Always sick. And this illness is more of an intoxication than a reality. And as long as they hold the thought of that illness, it settles in their body and no doctor can take it away. This is intoxication. Then man's environment, his living conditions of wealth and luxury creates for him an illusion. So much so until they no longer see the condition of the poor people around them. We have those people. Go out for dinner, $500 a night, flying jet planes every day, Rolls Royce, Cadillacs, living good. They see no longer a condition of poor people. They're intoxicated with the wealth. This intoxication remains with many people, not only when they are awake, but it continues in their dreams, just as a drunkard will dream about the things that has to do with his drunkenness. If the drunk has joy or sorrow, if the drunk has worries or pleasures, the same will be the condition of his dream. Day and night, the dream continues to exist. With some people, the dream lasts their whole life. With others, it lasts a short time. Man loves these intoxications as much as a drunkard loves the intoxication of his wine. When a person is seeing something interesting in a dream and somebody tries to wake him, he feels for a moment inclined to sleep on to finish out the dream, although he knows it's just a dream and somebody's trying to wake him. This intoxication can be seen in all different aspects of life. People love that which they cannot understand. They're very pleased to be told stories that the reason cannot see. Give them the simple truth. Give people the simple truth, they reject it. When teachers like Jesus Christ came to the earth with the message of simple truth for mankind, the people at that time didn't want to hear it. A man named Martin Luther King came with a simple message of love and race for races and humanity. Many of the society didn't want to have it. They even killed him and Christ. But whenever an attempt was made to mystify people, telling them fairies, ghosts, and spirit stories, they seemed to be very pleased to hear lies. Count Dracula meets the Wolfman on Horror Mountain. Lying for miles. Big movie out Superman, a fool flying through the air. A big hit. I mean, doctors and lawyers and black people and white people and all races sitting there wanting to see Superman fly. Mystified, like to be puzzled. They desire to understand that which they cannot understand. A shark named Jaws coming up on beaches eating up people. Star Wars, little crazy people walking around. Beep, 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 beep. And people look. I mean, theaters are packed. Theaters are packed. And it's foolishness. I swear, with my Islamic Muslim studies and the knowledge you hear me saying, and with what I know, I cannot watch a movie like Star Wars. And people sitting there, most of white people, I'm surprised at y'all, sitting there. Frankenstein, a monster. Oh, Hugar, whoever, goes the graveyard. And he dig up a head and go over and dig up a arm. And put it together, and the doctor working in the magic, and lights, and the spooky castle raining outside. You sitting there. When Frank starts walking. People like to be mystified. Santa Claus is not a real story. That's the biggest lie and the biggest commercial day in our country. Santa Claus comes down the chimney. People like to be mystified. Santa Claus coming down the chimney, and his beard don't even get dirty. Reindeers, there ain't even no snow, they still come. All them like Goldilocks. The three bears, they start off telling us lies. The three pigs. Wolfman. Full moon comes up. He starts turning. Big stuff in America. People love to understand that which they cannot. They like to be entertained and lied to. I would tell them in the boxing world, I'm the greatest, I'll kill him, round 5, no job, let me go, I'll get you there. And they pay $1 million to see fight. Ooh, he hit Joe Frazier. Hear what happened? I am the greatest, sucker, I'll kill you. And then Joe Frazier on TV, one day, he can't think like me, so I said, Joe, let's make some money. Madison Square Garden's not full. We're going to start scuffling, and you jump up, and I'm going to grab your head, we're going to wrestle. Remember that? We start scuffling and fight. And people, Thomas Gold says he didn't know what happened either. He said, ladies and gentlemen, this is a shame. I don't know what's happening. Man, they sold 5,000 extra tickets the next day. Man, I got them, yeah. Mystified. People are so easy to lead and to trick. They desire to understand that which they cannot understand. So what we have always called spiritual or religious truth. Take this careful, this is serious. Take this part out. I'm closing my lecture now. What we have always called spiritual or religious truth has been that key to that ultimate truth, which you cannot see because of this intoxication all around. I repeat. What man has always called spiritual or religious truth has been the key to that ultimate truth, which you cannot see because of this intoxication all around you. And this truth, nobody can give to another. I cannot really explain it to you or convert you here today. It's in the soul of every man. For the human soul itself is and was created in truth. God created man in truth. All that I can do, all that one can do, is to receive the means by which this truth can be known. Repeat, all one can do is to learn the means in which this truth can be known. All the different religions in various forms have been the methods by which the inspired souls of man came to teach this truth. Some of this I've got to say twice. I want you to get it. All of the different religions, all of the different religious forms have been methods by which the inspired souls have come to give man this truth. And instead of being benefited by this truth, which is in the soul of every man, man is accepting only the external part of religion. And he's fought with others, saying, my religion is right and yours is wrong. Yours is false. Nevertheless, there have always existed wise men. As it is told in the Bible, they came from the east when Jesus Christ was born. What does this mean? The wise men came from the east when Christ was born. It means that before Jesus Christ, there was wise men. Wise men at different times in history who have always existed, and their life mission was to keep themselves sober in spite of this intoxication all around them, and to help their fellow man gain this soberness. Among those who were wise in history and who remained sober, there have been some of these people with great inspirations as well as great power to control themselves and others within and without. These are the wise men which are called saints, sages, prophets, and masters. But even in following these men and in accepting these men through his intoxication have taken one of these men as his prophet or his leader in this way and have fought with others. Reverend Moon, he's got his followers. They'll fight. Elijah Muhammad has his followers. They'll fight. Jim Jones had his followers. They even died. Marcus Garvey had his followers. Malcolm X got his followers. The Pope's got his followers. The Shah of Iran's got his followers. All of these men have their followers. In this way, in the way people radically follow these people, killing themselves and whatever, they have shown their intoxication and their drunkenness. But just as a drunken man, without any thought, will hurt another person who happens to be different from him, I repeat, a drunken man, a man who's intoxicated, without any thought, will harm or hurt another man who don't agree or who's different from him. Someone who thinks and believes not the same. So for the most part, in my closing, for the most part of history, the great people of the world who have come to help humanity, they have been crucified, tortured, lynched, or hung. But even after all of this, these men didn't complain, for they have taken it as a natural consequence. They understood that they were in a world of intoxication or drunkenness. That's why Jesus said, "Forgive them, Father, they know not what they do." He knew he was in a world of drunkenness and intoxication. Martin Luther King forgave him. All great men, I don't know how much you kill them, how much you torture them, they feel sorry for you because they realize you're intoxicated, and it's natural for an intoxicated man to hurt or to do him harm. They knew that it was natural that people should try to hurt him or kill him. This has been the history. In whatever part of the world the message of God was given. In reality, the message comes from one source, and their source is God. And under whatever name that message was given, it was the same message. Why do I say whatever name? Some of them get it in Catholic, some get it in Baptist, some get it in Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventist, Holy Roller, Krishna, Buddha. See, rivers, ponds, lakes, and streams all have different names, but they all contain water. So does religions have different names, and they all contain truth expressed in different ways, forms, and times. I repeat, rivers, ponds, it's so beautiful, I want you to hear it one more time. Rivers, ponds, lakes, and streams. They all have different names, but they all contain water. So does religions have different names, and they all contain truth, expressed in different ways, forms, and times. Those whose hearts had eyes to see and ears to hear have known and seen the same message because they have understood and received the message. But those whose hearts had no eyes and ears have taken the messenger to be important, but not his message. But in whatever period and time in history that message came, and in whatever language that message was given, and whatever name, it was always that one message, the message of wisdom. Thank you.
At the end of his speech, Ali entertained a few questions from the audience. He was first asked if he has any political aspirations.
No, I have something better. I have an organization I've just formed that's not tax exempt called WORLD. W-O-R-L-D stands for World Organization for Rights, Liberty, and Dignity. It's going to be mine. I'm not going to have nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with race, nothing to do with religion. It's going to be for all people. It's W-O-R-L-D. Each letter will be black, brown, red, yellow, and white. W-O-R means all people. And I'm setting it up my own way. I want people to help me, join me. I'll be coming to this city soon, looking for followers and people memberships. And we're going to put my first office up in all places. I'm going to see Brezhnev in about 3 more weeks to put my first office in the Kremlin. In the Russian Kremlin, he gave me a spot where he'll work with us and help us. He consented to a 30-minute documentary of asking questions, speaking to the American public, with the Russian ballets coming over, put on a show for it. We're going to film doctors in Russia, the policeman, the housewife, the nurse. Then after that, we're going to Bangladesh. We got the president of Bangladesh. We got the Sadat of Egypt. We got Marcos of the Philippines. We're going to set offices up in every country, and we're going to try to better relationships among all people on a social, not political level. And we're going to go and do a lot of things. Because what happened is that Everybody want to, like, I'm in a spot. I'm not old, but yet I'm time to retire. And I don't know, what am I going to do when I quit boxing? I mean, I'm used to running every day, going somewhere, doing something. I don't need the money to where I got to go work. What am I going to do? I'm used to traveling. It's like dope. You get so wrapped up in movies, you hate it. I can't stay home a week. So what am I going to do? This country seems too small. I mean, I can go anywhere in the world and be recognized and have people and followers. In this college here, I can be in Manila, I can be in Cairo, I can be in France, and they'll turn out by the thousands. So hear me. So what I'm trying to say, I want to do something with it. So I'm not going to be politics. It's going to be, we're getting ideas from people. We'll go to Russia, for an example, and we get like 10,000 addresses and pictures and letters and bring them back and give them to American college students, and they'll write their Russian friend or whatever. We'll go do documentaries on, like if I ask you who's the president of Nigeria, probably if nobody here's from Africa, they probably don't know the name of the president of Nigeria. Anybody here know the president of Nigeria? No, not the people who are African. Don't want you talking. You know what we do? For an example, this is a world premiere. That screen will come down like you just saw me. You'll see Brezhnev talking to you in his language and an interpreter saying whatever he want to say to the American public. Then the Russian ballet will come out. This has been something like the Superdome, they'll put on a show. Chris Christopherson is ready, signed up with me. Johnny Cash is with me. People like John Travolta, Stevie Wonder, these type of people say, man, I'm ready to help you whatever you do. So we're going to have concerts. We're going to sell memberships to work. We're going to help boys' homes. We're going to donate money to hospitals. Old folks' homes are bad shape. They're mistreated. We can go all over the country. We're going to London, Wembley Stadium. We'll draw like maybe 100,000 people, and we'll talk to do what we can. We go to Nigeria. We're going throughout the world. So I'm farming that. It's farmed now, and it's lunch when I go to Russia in about 6 weeks to set my first office. And if I can crack Russia, you can take just about any country, and you can get to them when you can get to Russia. Can you imagine a spook in Russia? In the criminal in his desk in Russia on his phone? Can you see me over in Russia making phone calls? Man, it's bad, ain't it? I'll be calling President Carter up. Say, Jimmy, I want to talk to you. I said, the business is here. That's what I'm going to do. I think it'll work. So I'm going to do it. Because I got to do something bigger than, right now, what I've done is the biggest thing in sport. No individual probably ever get no more popular than me facially. Like 4 billion people on earth, about 3 billion are conscious of Muhammad Ali. Like 3 billion. So, I mean, if anybody can do this, it's me. I already got a spot in the Philippines in the Muhammad Ali Mall. I got a spot in Paris, France. I'm getting about a building in Washington. Now, outside our embassy will be a flag of every country that we're involved with, and on each flag will be a picture, welded picture of me. Say, for example, Brezhnev will hand me a flag. We'll take a picture, and he'll authorize me to fly, and we'll have a picture welded on the flagpole, and then we'll picture me and Brezhnev justifying the flag. Now, I just can't just take a flag and fly it for no reason. So the president of that country is going to give me his flag. That's a bad nigga. Give me his flag. Yeah. And the Russians, let me tell you something, it will cost no money to get him here because Brezhnev will fly over a Russian jet with the Russian ballet, pay all the hotel and food expenses just to be with us and to promote him, and he can say what he wants on a social level at home with his grandchildren in his lap. He's consented to that. I can do it. So I can put all this together, it'd be a pretty nice thing. The reason we don't like Russians, they don't like us, because our government tells us they ain't no good, and their government tells us we ain't no good. I went over and the people in Russia ain't thinking about you. No, the rest they trying to eat and go to work and drive their cars and make some money, raise their babies and change diapers. They ain't thinking about you. And ordinary America, they ain't hate no Russians. America and these countries got that little politics. One leader say something, the other say something. People ain't bad. People are people. Ain't nobody want to kill and fight nobody. I'm going over and film the Russians. Yeah. They don't fight nobody. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to film the Russian nurse. The Russian lady home baking chicken and cooking turkey and feeding the family. Russian on the streets working. Film the Russians. Do you ever saw Russians in school or know what they do in school? Do you know how they act? Do you know how they play ball, or do you know how they soldier? You ever been to a Russian nightclub? You ever saw how they entertain? I got permission to get all that. That's power, man. I'm the honest man can do it. Can't nobody do it? Look at it. I saw Brezhnev. That was at the Kremlin. I was waiting in my hotel 2 days later. 2 Russian guys come in. Muhammad Ali. Took me to the Kremlin, drove up this big old park and around this curve and this pretty drive and all these trees and guards saluting. I said, damn. What am I doing in Russia? Is this real? And I went down the hall and all the soldiers on guard, they all waiting for me. They knew me. All in Russia, they all knew me. And I went to Brezhnev's office, a big old long room, big green carpet, big long table where they have meetings, and a few flags and statues and plaques and trophies of his. And there's Brezhnev. As soon as I walked in, we ran each other and he hugged me, and believe it or not, kissed me on both cheeks. Well, kissed on both cheeks. Let me tell you something, man. Do you know that's some accomplishment? A civilian? Carter didn't send me. Didn't no government send me. I went to Russia because I heard they want to see me. And Antonio Dobrynin in Washington told me they want you in Russia. There's nobody in Russia like Muhammad Ali. All they know is Muhammad Ali. Every Russian on the street, they love him. You will see when you go, old people, young people, babies, it's Muhammad Ali. They don't find nothing in Russia. They don't know about Holocaust sale in Russia. They don't know Holocaust sale. They don't know about the Yankees, the Brooklyn Dodgers, Frank Sinatra, Billy Eckstein. It don't mean nothing in Russia. It's another whole world. Only one man. I got off that airport in Russia, and you should have seen the people in the airport. And doing my little representing soul, you know. I taught a couple of Russians how to do the cool soul walk. Yeah, I got the Russians over there. Man, we had a good time. So that's what I'm going to do. I could be on a television network talking about sports. I could have a news show talking about world leaders. I could be in movies every week making big movies. I could be in Las Vegas making money, telling jokes. But I find ain't nothing like working with the world. One day I'm in Manila. Next I'm in Russia. Next I'm in Cairo, Egypt. A couple more weeks later, I'm back over in Scotland. Then I'm back in France. I'm going to Japan. You may have heard of Idi Amin wants me to referee him fighting Antonio Inoue, the Japanese wrestler that I fought. He wants me to fight Antonio Inoue, and I'm trying to decide, do I want to go to Uganda and be in the ring, refereeing the fight, and wonder if he might get mad at me with all his soldiers at ringside. You heard about it, it's on news. They want to give me $1 million cash to do what? Just referee Antonio Inoue, the Japanese wrestler. I fought, and he laid on the floor and kept kicking, he wouldn't wrestle. Now, Idi Amin is going to meet him in Uganda, give me $1 million of referee. Whole world's going to be watching. That's right. $1 million to referee the match in Uganda. That's what I'm thinking about it. But suppose I thought if I get over there and I'd make a real decision or I'd do something that ain't right, and they got their own law. All of them there ringside with rifles, and Idi Amin's halfway crazy in the way. And Antonio Inoue start putting something on his butt. And I'd make the wrong count. And everybody get all upset. How am I getting out of there, man? I'm bad, but I ain't that bad. I'm a bad, but I ain't that bad. So I'm trying to decide if I want to go or not.
An audience member then asked Ali if he would ever fight again, to which Ali gave a resounding
no. Tell you why. Did you know just if I lose a decision, I just look bad. I couldn't talk like I'm talking. Did you know I couldn't talk like this? I couldn't boast like this. I couldn't set up my world organization. I'd be a fool to fight. I'd be the biggest fool in the world to go in the ring again. Me going to ring for what, man? I'd be the biggest three-time champion. The three-time champion went out in glory. Danced in 15 rounds, my weight was right, reflexes, everything, $6 million live gate. Oh man, who's the telegram?
We have like to recognize how you that guy. He's grew up in the islands. We'd like to extend that.
We'd like to recognize I have a special youth here with me tonight, who the Ohio Youth Commission Buckeye Youth Center at Wood honor the privilege of meeting the great Muhammad Ali Apostle. If so, please have me. Will y'all stand up? Where they at? They're the Ohio. Who are they?
Ohio Youth Commission.
Ohio Youth Commission? Buckeye Youth Commission?
There they are, yeah.
Where they at? Oh, I see them. Come on down here. Come on up here. Let me see you. Get you some publicity. Come on, let the people see you. You know you want to show off. Can't nobody see you back, especially you brothers.
That's why some people would like to recognize you, Muhammad.
So I think we're going to bring my little talk to a close. We could be all night. They have something somebody want to give me. Walk like you bad. What you gonna do, son? You walk like you bad. They ain't as dumb as they look. Okay, this is the Ohio Youth Commission, right? Now, what is the Youth Commission about? Nothing. Okay, y'all gonna take a seat. I just want the people to see you. That's the Ohio Youth Commission. So, some state reps, some city officials want to do something with me, so I'm going to close my little talk and thank you all very much for listening.
We have some state representatives and some city officials who would like to recognize Muhammad Ali for his greatness. First of all, I'd like to call out Reggie Sermon from the Senate, the House Senate.
I'd like to present this resolution from the Ohio State Senate to Muhammad Ali. And on behalf of the Ohio State Senate, I'd just like to say it's a personal pleasure for me to be able to stand up here with the greatest tonight. Thank you.
Man, thank you.
Next we have City Councilman Jerry Hammond. He's going to present Muhammad with the city resolution.
I'm not going to take the time to read this. I'm quite sure that there's absolutely no way that the city of Columbus can put in words our appreciation for the man that's here. Words can't describe the man. Quite frankly, all I can say is, may the Supreme Being give you the power to continue to do what you got to do, man.
Thank you.
Thirdly, we have Les Brown from the House of Representatives. Present Mr. Ali. Resolution.
Chumpy didn't bring nothing with you.
Oh, you got that here. Look out, Chump Charlie. We're going to put a whipping on you before you leave here, old man.
When you be cool, you look like Joe Frazier.
Well, now, let me tell you, my mama never had a child ugly as Joe Frazier. You better be quiet and be glad you came out before birth control. You in Columbus now. Watch out. This is my territory. Listen, what we like to do, we like to present something from the House of Representatives, but we have a young man here by the name of Walt Neal, a very talented artist from Columbus, who drew a picture, painted a picture of Muhammad Ali, and he would like to present it to him at this time. Walt Neal, look at that. Hold it up, Walt. We also have in the audience Mr. Charles Larry. Charles Larry, will you come up? He has a presentation to make to Muhammad Ali.
Charles Larry is opening on March 1st, the first black disco in the United States in the heart of the ghetto over on Main and Kelton, and he's named the room Muhammad Ali's Room, and he's giving him the first membership thereof. And they have a health food bar that's naming after him as well. And Charles Larry used to weigh 350 pounds. Now look at him, he's looking better than good. Let's give Charles Larry a round of applause to make his presentation. Okay, thank you very much. We'll be talking to Charles Larry there. Now, from the behalf of the House of Representatives, we'd like to present this. I think this is really a truly historic day. Look at a little teeny-weeny there. We'd like to present this to Muhammad Ali on behalf of the House of Representatives. Some years ago, a great black man by the name of Paul Robeson came here and spoke and said essentially the same thing that Muhammad Ali said, and he was boycotted around this country, and blackball in this country was not able to perform professionally. This is truly a new day, and only Muhammad Ali could be the statesman that he is today and say the things that he says and not be condemned or called a communist. I think he's a true humanitarian, and the world recognizes that, and we'd like to present this to you on behalf of the House of Representatives, recognizing you the greatest of all time.
We would like to thank Dr. Georgiana Bowman and the Office of Black Student Programs for their cooperation during Muhammad Ali's appearance at OSU. We hope that if you have any questions or comments, that you would please write them to the Black Studies Broadcast Journal, 2400 Olentangy River Road, Columbus, Ohio, 43210. The engineer for this program is Ed Thompson, research assistant is Darwit Garrett, and the producer is Carol Hector Harris. Funding for today's program was provided in part by a grant from the Friends of WOSU. I'm Marianne Williams, your program moderator and executive producer. Thank you very much for being with us.